You know what nobody really talks about after awakening? The leftovers. The thoughts that are still in the fridge, right? You've outgrown them, and yet they're still there, hanging out in the fridge, turning into not so good smelling stuff. We'd started this talk today, Jill and I did, and we thought this would be a great subject for our community. The leftovers, the things that continue to surface even after you have awakened. I'm Andrea Arena from Beyond Extraordinary, and I'm here with Jill Rubenacker
From the Vision School.
from the Vision School, and we are here today to talk about leftovers and how to deal with them every day, because even after you're awake, they continue to surface. So Jill, let's revisit what we were talking about earlier. I think that was a great subject, and I think a lot of our people are going through this.
Right. So I think we're both witnessing things from our past that just spontaneously creep into the little chatter in the back of our mind, right? Things that used to probably really annoy us. I think we were, just for an example, being a parent and feeling so responsible for everything, right? And sometimes that chatter is, well, I didn't get this, or I had to do this for somebody. And it is just an old thought, an old belief that creeps in. So we were discussing, how do you navigate when these old thoughts of lack or limitation or doing too much for others, just not where we are now, pop in? I, we know that they're still back there. Not that we have to do a lot of work to get rid of them, but we do need to clean the fridge. We really have to clean it out, or we're going to have this mold growing everywhere, right?
I absolutely agree. And it's true because, there's such forms of habit, right? That you've done it your whole life. You've experienced a situation. Your kids have asked you for something, right? And you have this pattern of thought, right? You give them what they want, but there's resistance to giving them what they want because you really didn't want to have to put your book down so you could go take them to the library, or you didn't really want to have to miss your exercise class to take them over to a friend's birthday party. There are so many instances where we just go back into the pattern of thought, and then it's that underlying sense of it doesn't feel good anymore, right? And so we follow the thought that we've always had. Oh, why am I still doing this? Then you have the awakened self that's going, well, you shouldn't still be having these thoughts. You should be beyond this. But we have these leftovers. And so this tension is created, and it's resistance within us. And so seeing them, right? Bringing our awareness to them without bringing our energy to them, which is a really big difference, right? You can notice them without becoming entangled with them and giving all of your energy to them.
Exactly, right. Because I do feel like there's some point where we have to clean them out. So you have to notice that they're still there, or they're going to be lurking in the back of the fridge, right? In the background. So just acknowledging it and, saying to it softly, nope, that's right. I don't need to think that way anymore. Or, oh yeah, that's right. That's not true. That's not true. And settle that thought process down. And even if you see it, say, okay, I see you, and change it. Instantly change it. What is my new belief? And the more and more we step into that new belief is when it's going to start being the dominant belief that we have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So noticing it in the moment without
Mhm.
giving your energy to it.
Right. So energy to it would be dwelling on it, right? Staying there longer than you need to, creating an even bigger story, like, well, they don't respect me. They don't, how our minds just go down the path, really just stopping it in the moment. that's how we take our energy back from it and place it on a thought we want or a belief that we now believe. Is that how you see it?
So do you feel that sometimes it's really difficult when there's an emotional charge to it to bring your energy back? And I think this is sometimes where we get with those special label people in our life, our mates, our children, our siblings, our parents, right? Anybody that we've attached a special label to. There's an emotional charge to the habitual thought or the pattern of belief that you've done over and over and over. So taking that emotional charge out of it, what do you find is the best way to remove that emotional charge?
Right. So lately I've been diving into revision in a little bit different ways than what I've ever done before, right? So it's all just a remembering. So could you revise it that they didn't have that emotional charge, right? Can you think of a scene that would take that emotional charge away? Let's just use for sake of just kids not respecting that you have to drive them around, right? This is an old story that you've told because you believe that they don't respect you, right? So you need to revise it that, oh my gracious, they respect me so much. They love it when I pick them up. Like it's the best thing ever to pick them up and they're so grateful for it. So can you in that moment choose a different scene instead of replaying the one you've always played, right? So that's what I've been working on. Just anything that I notice isn't a part of my new earth or the way I want to be, I just go back and revisit it, right? You can keep those special people, but see them the way you want to see them, right? And not tell the negative, not so nice story about it.
Right. I think it is that easy. And I think you mentioned revision. Revision is something that was kind of put into our world by Neville Goddard, right? And so Neville was always about the assumption. So basically, what I hear you saying is you notice the assumption that you made. The assumption is that they don't respect you and that you always have to, do this for them and you give up your time and if it shouldn't be this way because you do this all the time. And maybe you're involving the story of, well, my mate should be, pitching in, or a brother or sister, or why can't my kid, you start down this spiral. So as soon as you notice the assumption that you're making, right, whatever that is, it doesn't fit the belief and the embodiment that you are now, the awakened human, right? You are aware of your thoughts, your behaviors, your actions, how feelings feel in your body. And as soon as you feel that, right, you bring it back. Well, what is that new assumption? What is that new feeling? And you might not be able to get to the place where you're completely revising it in the moment, right? But you can, in that moment, I feel like you can absolutely choose a different thought about it.
Right. And that thought, when you choose the thought, how you know you're choosing the right one is how you feel. Does it make you feel good? Like just that instance that, oh, my kids always appreciate me when they pick me up, and they're excited to see me. Well, that feels way better than the other story. So our emotions are the indicator if you're on the right path to where your soul wants you to go, right? So when you are in the kitchen and mad that you have to unload the dishwasher or whatever it is, or have to do the dishes, right? That's an indicator that something's off. So you're playing an old script. Immediately, that's the indicator. And how to fix it, right, is to go to a thought that feels better. So maybe it is that, everyone just adores me when I do the dishes, right? I love the warm feeling of the water, or whatever it is to take you to a better place.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, I totally notice this in my own world. And I notice that these assumptions come up, right? And the thing about them is that they don't always come with a negative feeling. So you might have that feeling, that thought, right? The negative thought, oh, they don't respect me, and oh, this always like this, and oh, I always give everything, and nobody appreciates me, or whatever the story is. It's such a habitual thought that you're used to the feeling in your body. So it doesn't even have a bad feeling attached to it. So sometimes it can be somewhat tricky to catch those thoughts. But you do know, right? On some level, I think we do know that's not how we were designed to live our life. Because if you are on a journey of awakening, one of the things that become kind of an overriding feeling is just a feeling of ease, right? A feeling of, oh, that's not a big deal. A feeling of, maybe you can't get to joy and bliss all the time, but you can almost always feel at peace with the moment that you're in, right? Because when you're not in the moment you're in is when you're jumping back into that story, the one that you've always told, and helping to dissolve it is just as easy as bringing yourself back into the moment and asking yourself, right? Is this how I want to feel?
Yes. Yes. Because I do feel like our feelings are the indicators of which way do you want to go.
Yes. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're right. So I do feel like the more you can be sensitive to just the feeling, right? Oh, this feels off, just slightly off, even if it's just a little eat. But sometimes that little eat is what's probably always in the background, running that story, that, whether it's money and you see the bill and you go, yeah, well, that's an indicator immediately that you're off of where your soul or higher self, wants to be and where you're going. It's just to redirect. So just use that to redirect. And use your tools to redirect, like revisioning, right? If it makes you feel better in that moment, then you've redirected. And that's how you know that you've redirected,
Absolutely. So I think to sum it up for everybody that's listening and having these moments come up, one, I don't think they ever disappear. I think we're always going to be having these moments. They're just going to come at us at different levels. And it's our awareness, right, that brings it back, because where our attention goes, we know is where our energy flows. So if we're paying attention to the things that bother us, the things that annoy us, the things that don't seem to be going our way, the bill that comes in, the car that pulls out in front of us, when we get pulled down into that kind of quagmire of emotional entanglement, we know that this isn't where we want to be because it doesn't feel good. But we don't have to jump down and try to figure out where that all came from, right? We just have to notice it, bring it to the light, bring it to ourselves, call our energy back into the moment, and choose a better thought. Make a new assumption, as Neville says, right? What is it that you want to assume now? What would feel better?
Exactly. And as soon as you feel better, you're out of that loop. You're out of that loop. And really, once you start thinking those better thoughts or a different scenario or how it could play out, it spirals right up, right? I mean, just as quickly as it spirals down, the person pulls out in front of you and now everything else in the world is wrong. As soon as you notice and you can start the spiral upwards, then you're back up and it goes as high as you want it to go.
I love that. I love that. And that was a great conversation today. And this has been a great conversation. Jill, can you tell everybody how to find you?
Yes, I'm at jillrubenacker.com, or you can go to school and check out the Vision School.
And what do you do at the Vision School? Give me a little rundown.
The Vision School is a playground where we go to create, right? We know we're creators. So this is a place where we celebrate our creations. We come to it as our higher self or future self with whatever dream or desire that you're bringing into your life, you come there and you play as if it's already done. And we have lots of tools and techniques to keep you in that vibration, in that spirit, because we all know that, this world, we're 1 foot in our past and 1 foot in the future. And so we're just trying to tip the scale there at Vision School to get you to that future self quicker.
I love that, because that's what we do all day, every day, stepping into the embodiment of who we really are and who we remembered ourselves to be, right? I love it. What a great conversation. I will see you next time, which is like almost every day we have a conversation. It's a great conversation. So we're doing what we always said that we would, bringing it to the world.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this off. And there we go.